there was a fist mark on the body instead. But I was sure I saw him aim for the head. When did he hit the body? Quinn thought. As I said before, this is just a demonstration of what the skill looks like, and not me using the skill. This is a phantom punch. While in a fight, you will aim your punch in a certain direction to start. Before the first movement is made, your charm skill will take slight control of the user's mind. To them, an image will appear and make it look like the punch has continued heading in the initial direction. But in fact, this will be a phantom punch. While the user is dodging or trying to block it, the real blow will come from somewhere else. This skill works even better if you have high enough agility. You will be able to perform several phantom punches at once, confusing your opponent. But be careful, just like with daze, it has a chance of not working well. This is why I recommend you to increase your charm points when possible. What I just did was not the real phantom punch. Instead, I decided to just change the direction of my punch at such a speed that the video was unable to capture it. I'm pretty amazing, right? After hearing this line, it reminded Quinn a little bit of Fex. He started wondering whether all vampires were really like this, arrogant and big-headed. The phantom punch can only be used against real opponents, so there is no way for me to show you through the video. After the initial video explanation was over, as usual, there were a few more videos that broke down the action slowly, bit by bit. Quinn began to watch the videos. The first video explained the feeling while using the charm ability on your opponent. He explained it by saying it should feel similar to when Quinn would use the daze skill. He should gather that feeling again and try to focus it through his eyes. Then, using his strong will and the image in his head, he would be able to project a fist outward. This in turn would allow the opponent to see the same thing. The next set of videos explained the hard part. It was the combination of the two. After hearing the explanation, Quinn didn't think it would be too hard, but just practicing it, not using it against an opponent, he found out it was extremely difficult. It was similar to someone learning the piano. One part of the brain needed to focus and do a certain action, while the other part needed to do a different action. The problem was that it was the same arm that was meant to be doing the action. If he projected thoughts to target the head and tried punching below, as soon as he thought too much about hitting the head, his fist would automatically hit upward. Still, Quinn wasn't the type to give up. If there was one thing he was good at, it was that he was able to repeat an action repeatedly. He never got bored of doing the same thing over. As he repeated the move several times, he could slowly separate his thoughts and actions into two separate things. He had now lost count of how many punches he had performed. The good thing, though, was he didn't feel tired at all because of the game. However, it did have a huge impact on his mind. He didn't know whether it was because he was in the game or trying to split his thought into two, but he would often get headaches as he pictured himself using the charm ability while forcing the energy outward from his eyes. Surprisingly, in the middle of his practice, a notification screen popped up. It wasn't something he was expecting. Your dedication has paid off. You have pushed your charm skill to the limit several times. Charm stat +1. Charm 13. It was the first time a stat point had increased without him leveling up or consuming blood. The system was clear that it was a fact that Quinn had continuously pushed himself while trying to learn the skill. However, this was a bigger deal than he thought. Maybe there was another way to increase his stats. If the others worked in the same way, if Quinn went out and constantly ran until he tired himself out, would his stamina increase? And was this the same for other stats? What if he continuously lifted weights? Would his strength increase as well? The only problem with this method would be time. It was a lot easier to take a blood sample from someone and increase his strength. In a situation like this, where he couldn't do that, maybe it was a good idea to look into it. Quinn had done enough practice for now, and he felt like he had done as much as he could. And yet, he still didn't have the skill in his system, like the flash step and hammer strike. Certain combination skills didn't appear in the system, like blood hammer and using blood swipe with his shadow. But since this skill was taught by the system, maybe it would have displayed. Right now, there was only one thing he could do. Just as the system had said, if he wanted to practice and learn how to use it, he would need to use it on a real opponent. Switching servers. Blood Evolver is online. Matchmaking in progress. Opponent found. Let's do this. There were quite a lot of people in the world that had an interest in technology. If one could not make it in the world using their abilities, the only real avenue and sector that had a lot of potential that anyone with enough effort and determination could tap into was the realm of research and technology. There were myriads of abilities that could help you work better in this field, but nothing could compare to the greatness of the human mind when it came to creative thinking and engineering, which led to the creation of these fields. Unfortunately for Nate, he was not one of these people, but I knew quite a lot of people who had knowledge in this field. Nate had gotten one of these said people to set up a system in which he would get notified when the Blood Evolver was online. Recently, he had also added the new user Zombie P to that list as well. He was unable to see the person's game last time, but now he didn't want to miss out on them. While Nate was relaxing with his best friend Sam, as usual, he received a notification. Nate immediately headed off towards the capsule. Right now, both he and Sam were watching their favorite contender. "Hey, I think you're obsessed with this guy," Sam said in a concerning voice. "It's just that this person's growth never seems to slow down. I've grown myself over time, but I'm just wondering where his limits are," Nate explained. Quinn had been matched up with another level 4 user, but unlike the ones he fought against previously. This user was also wearing beast gear around his chest. Since the first expedition had already happened with each of the military bases, it was expected that players of the game would now more likely have at least some level of beast gear. The match had begun, and Quinn followed his usual routine of rushing forward and fighting head-on. Oftentimes he would be the aggressor in fights, causing the enemy to slightly panic in the middle of the battle, and this time was no different. Seeing a target running towards him, the user paced both his hands together and shot out a hydro pump of water. The stream of water was strong and fast, but still, due to the distance, Quinn could easily avoid it, but instead of outright avoiding the attack, he waited till the last second and performed the flash step to avoid the attack. The water user, seeing this, changed his attack slightly. Instead of a large stream of powerful water, he decided to shoot out smaller, fast streams of water that came out like bullets. Once again, though, Quinn used the flash step to avoid the next set of shots. Quinn only had enough stamina to perform 3 flash steps in one game, so he had already used up over half his strength, and his body was tied. Still, he continued moving, and then before the user could use his water bullets again, Quinn performed his 3rd flash step, appearing behind the user. As he turned his head around, Quinn made sure to look him in the eyes, just as the video tutorial had said. He activated his charm the same way when he used the Daze skill.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.